Hey guys, it's new hair slog dog me. Today I'm going to talk about patch 13.10 and what it means for the sexiest champion in the game, Yorick. On a serious note though, I've been delaying this video quite a bit, but that's because I've been testing a lot of stuff these past days. I've streamed almost every single day, trying to get footage and just testing out what works and what is good. And although I haven't tested out everything, I have a pretty good idea of what is essentially the best build on Yorick, or at least one of the best builds right now. So firstly, let's address the elephant in the room. Do you go Prowler's Claw now on Yorick? And the answer is, fuck no. Why the fuck would you think Prowler's Claw is good? Yorick has no dashes. Why the hell would you ever want to go an item which only works when you dash? There's literally nothing that can help make Yorick dash, okay? Oh shit. Okay, with that being said, don't actually go Gale Force Collector. I mean, if you want to, I'm not gonna stop you, but you can if you want to. But however, something funny about Collector, it is now an ST item on Yorick. Yep, ST. The thing about Collector is it's always been a pretty good item on Yorick. The problem with Collector though is the stats were never really that important. Even though you got lethality, it was a very minuscule amount. Even though you got crit, it was also a very minuscule amount, right? Although the damage of 60 AD is really nice, you had better options with just other items. The main value of Collector was the execute effect because it synergizes with ghouls and Maiden really well. And now you finally have an excuse to build it, because now it gives the perfect amount of lethality to make it actually good. It's an amazing second item purchase for snowballing really hard, because going back and buying Serrated Dirk means you can just brutalize anybody you see. And then you can finish the item to even brutalize people harder. Now you might be thinking, what is the best first item with it now? And the answer is, I'm not entirely sure. However, I'm 100% sure that Triforce Collector is probably the strongest combo with Yorick right now. The reason I say that is, Triforce alone gives you a shitload of damage. This patch it got buffed really hard. You might be thinking, it's only 5 AD, 5% attack speed. But you have to remember, every single item, especially the most important item Sunderer, got nerfed, which makes it stronger and more powerful, especially as a first item purchase. The build path is a lot easier, the stats are better, and the other options are shittier, which makes it at the top of the top. Triforce Collector has a really strong snowball potential. You have really strong early game. Although you don't have the wave clear of Ravenous Hydra and it's a bit weird, you work it out fine, because you maul really hard with that Q button, and ghouls. Now, there's another elephant in the room that we must address, Yamas Ghostblade. I've been hyping this item up for a while, and yeah, it's pretty goddamn good. However, not that impressive on Yorick? It's a weird item. I've tested out quite a lot of games on it. I've played around 5 to 10. The reason I'm not sure of its strength is because there is no numbers telling you actually how much damage it gives you. Meanwhile, something like Prowler's Claw, you can instantly activate it and you can tell its impact straight away. I do think that Yamas Ghostblade is a very strong item right now, and I actually think it's going to get nerfed because Assassin is currently the most broken class, but I'm not entirely sure of its strength on Yorick. With that being said though, Yamas Ghostblade, Collector, Serrated Grudge is probably one of the funniest builds you can go with Yorick right now. Alright, builds. I completely forgot about builds. I may have told you the 2 best item combo. I'm going to tell you the 4 builds that I currently like playing and I think are really good. Triforce, Collector, Hullbreaker, Serrated Grudge is a really strong combo together. You obviously have to tank into some Hullbreaker. Triforce gives you a bit of health as the first item, Collector strong snowball potential, and Grudge for the last little touch. The problem with this build is you are building Grudge really late, and you really want Grudge earlier because it's such a powerful item on Yorick. But it's just the price of getting the snowball potential of Collector, eh? Last item is completely flexible. Something like GA is incredibly good, but you can also build Death Stance, more Mortiers, whatever you need in the situation. The second build that I've been liking a lot is Ravenous Hydra, Yamas Ghostblade, Collector, Serrated Grudge, and Hullbreaker. Yes, you are building Hullbreaker very late in this build, but the main value of this build is the amount of burst and damage you have. You burst super goddamn hard with Yamas Ghostblade and Collector. You have so much armor pen, pretty much you're doing true damage no matter what. If you want, you can also replace Hullbreaker last item for even higher damage item. With that being said, there's a few more builds that I want to try out, and this is the unconfirmed section of the builds. This is the unconfirmed section, alright? So the first build that I do want to try out is a Ravenous Hydra BT build again. They did recently change Bloodthirster back to its original lifesteal value, and Ravenous Hydra is still completely broken. Overall, I actually think the Bloodthirster change is a nerf because you don't have that shield, and AD, it's nice, but it's not that impressive on Yorick. However, it sounds pretty funny because you can go something like Ravenous Hydra, BT, and Manamune and probably get like 350 AD or something with 3 items. I want to try that out. Also, another huge change that I didn't really talk about is TP is going from 14 minutes to 10 minutes. That's gigantic, that's enormous, honestly. It's a really interesting change because you see a lot of people now teleporting to other lanes to help their teammates, and overall, I'd say the change is pretty equal. The reason I say it's equal is even though your opponent will be TPing to other people and you can get plates for free, oftentimes the enemy mid laner will TP to your lane and then block you from getting plates as well. Another thing, plates. Plates got a huge change this patch. Whenever you destroy a plate, the tower will temporarily get extra armor and MR. So now there's going to be one really important trick that I don't really talk about, but it's something I use every single game with Yorick and Demolish. So what you want to do is when you're about to proc Demolish, try to do as much damage to a plate as possible, and then right when the plate's low HP, you proc Demolish with a Q or something. The reason why this is really good is because the tower stays on the same armor and MR value, but then after of course you destroy a plate, it gets increased armor and MR. And if you utilize this, you can get as much damage as possible during that plate time, and you're pretty much always guaranteed 2 plates. But yeah, breaking a tower from full HP is going to be a lot bigger struggle with plates now. But on the plus side, if you do get kind of screwed over in lane, you don't lose that much plates anymore. Now there's a lot of item changes. Dustbade did get a change, and I think I have to really important clarify right now. As far as I know of, Dustbade is currently bugged. It says your spells do up to additional damage based on target's missing health. This does not work with ghouls. This is bugged. As soon as it's fixed, I'm going to try it out because it looks like a fun ass item. Of course, I forgot to talk about the most important point, the Hullbreaker buff. Now, everyone's like, oh my god, Hullbreaker's broken, you got a huge buff. And I, for the most part, think it's an okay buff. The reason I say the buff isn't as big as it seems is because percentage movement speed increase doesn't affect ghouls. Meanwhile, if you buy a movement speed increase with base numbers like boots, it increases the ghouls' movement speed. So this percent movement speed doesn't affect ghouls, which is kind of eh. And the attack damage buff is, yeah, it's nice, but like, Yorick doesn't use AD that much, he uses armor pen really well. And you might be thinking, well, it's free stats, why wouldn't you want that? Well, the problem with free stats is that it costs 200 gold more now, which is kinda weird. Because usually you're building Hullbreaker 3rd or 4th, and it's a bit of an awkward item spike point now, being at 200 gold more. With that being said though, people have been telling me it's a really good first item rush. I haven't tried it out, but it doesn't seem so because it takes more gold to buy it, but if you want to try it, go for it, you can tell me how it goes. Another thing worthy of note is minions. Mid-minions be the same time as side lane minions. I didn't even know this. That was probably everything I wanted to talk about this patch. There's going to be a huge meta shift, and honestly, this is probably the most exciting patch we've ever had in years. Almost every single item got changed in the game, a lot of new items got added back, and even though you might not like the meta, you're like, oh, it's more dog shit than before, at the very least, we're getting change, and I really enjoy it. We've been stuck with Ravenous Hydra, Prowler's Claw, Grudge, Hullbreaker for 40 years now, and although we'll miss Prowler's Claw, a new era has rolled in. Collector, baby.